because you're swapping things up a whole bunch. Once they solidify who the most motivated and deserving players of the roster are, then you can expect the wins to come through and the closeouts. So you play with a new player, you're like, I don't know if this guy's going to split push, how much they like to do it, etc., how they navigate team fights. So get the early game together. Seems like Cloud9's done that. It's the later parts that need to just slot together and to get the team fights down.
Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't expect to put yourself at the top of the standings with this much change instantly. We'll see if today is the day where things start coming together in those late game portions of the match for Cloud9 as we head into Champion Select. Xayah, Kai'Sa, Taliyah, all banned away by the C9 squad as Echo Fox decides to remove Swain, Nocturne, and TK from the list. Cloud9 with a pretty fast lock-in on Morgana.
Yeah, Morgana jumped up the tier list, but look at that. So fast from Echo Fox. Boom, boom. Lucian Braum there. Altec and Fang will be piloting those most likely, but also the Braum can be part of a funnel strategy.
Always be on the lookout for that one. Every time he's locked in, you've always got to just scratch your head a little bit there, wonder if that's the way they're going to be playing it. Back to Cloud9, though. We'll see how they want to finish off this first half of the draft before the next wave of bans come in. Thinking about Irelia, we've seen this champion be very, very strong before, so locking that one in could definitely add a little bit of bang to the roster, and there we go.
Yeah, I've kind of narrowed down like what people are looking to ban most of the time. Thinking Nocturne, Irelia, Kai'Sa, sometimes Rakan or Xayah, Morgana, Taliyah, Aatrox, Zoe is not seen in this one. Aatrox and Zoe are still up coming into this. Same with Sejuani. So there's like 3 champions that I think will be kind of picked from here in terms of power picks. And the Trundle is one that people will pick mostly as a stopper to picking a Sejuani, but it's still incredibly effective.
Yeah, Trundle's one of those champions that just seems like he works. No matter what you seem to be running, there's always a spot where you can put Trundle in there. The pillar, the ultimate, everything this champion does, providing early dueling potential around skirmishes and crabs. The champ just works, and Cloud9 locked that one in for this game.
Yeah, and I want to see what Cloud9 do with the champions they have selected. Where's this Irelia going? Is it Golden Glue? Is it Jensen? Is it even Licorice in the top lane? Because this guy was known as a mechanical beast back in the day before he got picked up by C9, was picked up because of his mechanical prowess and the fact that he knew how to kind of navigate those bruisers. But Echo Fox on the other side, this is not what I expect when I hear that Echo Fox are going to be drafting a composition. I don't expect a Karma to be thrown in there.
No. It doesn't seem on brand for this team that has done so much crazy stuff so far in Summer Split, but they still got 2 more picks to potentially blow our minds with. We'll see what those end up being. They won't be Aatrox, though. Echo Fox does decide that is going to be their first ban of the second half of the ban phase. Cloud9, how do you want to respond to this one? They've already got the Irelia, the Morgana, and the Trundle locked in. They don't want to deal with Dr. Mundo this game.
Dr. Mundo out of the question. And now, do they ban another top laner? Do they ban a marksman and get rid of something? Okay, yeah. Horn makes a lot of sense here, but you have Braum, so it wouldn't be too much of an issue, but it's still just a very powerful champion in the top lane. And if you want Huni to play up against Licorice and punish him, you want to give him as strong a matchup as possible.
That's not into a pure meatball that can just press R in a team fight and always have that relevance, always have that use. Cloud9, 1 more ban to go, boys. What is it going to be? And it looks like they don't want Kindred on the Rift today.
Yeah, I actually thought that Kindred and Sejuani would both jump up very highly in priority after they got buffed/changed, especially on 8-12. I think they're both very strong and deserving of being in those top slots for junglers. Kindred, you don't actually see it a whole lot here in North America. It has been played a few times overseas. And I personally think it's quite strong. And I think they're getting buffs. And this is funnel time. We have 2 supports.
Here we go.
Potentially 3.
2 supports with a quote-unquote mid laner that's also looks a lot like a support. So we've got a lot of backup for wherever that funnel decides to go to. We'll see what Echo Fox's final pick will be as Cloud9 now knows what they're up against. Deciding to potentially pick a little bit of protection of their own. The Lulu, very popular pick for keeping people alive, making sure that big valuable carries don't get picked off early, and they'll lock that one in.
And I like that Echo Fox, they selected red side coming into this, so they'll be able to hide their last pick. You give side selection to each team once in their matchup because they play each other twice, and Echo Fox were like, we're going to pick red. Most teams, vast majority of teams pick blue side, and so it's kind of a departure when you see this happen. And Fiddlesticks, I don't know how it would slot in the composition, but they're going to do it.
We're about to find out, Zyrene. Fiddlesticks locked in on the side of Cloud9. We've been seeing this champion a lot in solo queue recently. There's been a lot of Fiddlesticks terrorizing the ladder, been a pretty successful support pick ever since things got all shaken up.
Wow.
And Echo Fox's final choice this game is going to be Renekton there for Huni.
And this is one of the first times that I'm actually struggling to figure out exactly how they're going to do this. So it looks like it's a Lucian in the jungle, I would assume for Altec, but remember, Huni does love his Lucian, but it's a Lucian being funneled by, I would believe, the Braum, and then
Karma bottom.
Karma bottom
Alistar.
with Alistar, so the mage bottom. So Phoenix will be playing bot, Altec will be playing jungle, and Dardoch, or Altec will be playing the funnel, I guess is what we'll call it. And then Dardoch will be the supporting cast member.
And also on the other side, Licorice will be on the Irelia, will be able to flourish those mechanical talents here in this game on that champion, while Gold and Blue will be on Morgana, Jensen will be on Lulu, so those two will also potentially be able to turn Licorice into an unstoppable monster. When you have Black Shield plus 1,000,000 HP and shields from a Lulu, Irelia can quickly hit raid boss status.
Yeah, and when I tell you, hey, Cloud9 are running 2 mid laners, these guys are fantastic mechanically, they're really good. You don't think they're gonna play Morgana Lulu and
pick those.
be another support for the team. This is honestly a very low damage composition. Licorice is kind of the linchpin here. He's the one who's gonna have to bring it all together on the Irelia. The Morgana can do a decent amount, and so can the Lulu, but we're not looking at something where it's just this massive amount of damage that's gonna come through. I do want to see how Smoothie pilots this Fiddlesticks, though, because from what I've been hearing, Fiddlesticks is fantastic against funnel compositions, particularly Master Yi, but it's the point-and-click CC from the Fear that forces a QSS buy from the funnel.
You just force the one guy who has all the money to slow down a little bit in a composition that's all about speed. It makes things very difficult, but so much faith placed by Cloud9 in this top lane of this game.
Yeah, they need Licorice to get ahead, and they need to start actually abusing Huni, and they can do that because it's a funnel comp. It means that you don't have a jungler that's roaming around that's going to affect the side lanes. And like I said, both of Echo Fox's losses have been when they're running a funnel composition. This is the 3rd time doing it, and so potentially they're saying, okay, we figured it out, we know this style, and just they're trying it again as they prepare for Rift Rivals.
That's one thing I want to keep in mind is what we heard a couple of times yesterday from Azael, talking about the jungler's responsibility when you're up against a funnel comp, not when you're playing one. So looking at what you would want to see from Svenskar, and he's saying you don't have to just sit mid and try to answer the funneling duo and try to make it so you outplay them 2v2 or something. You can just try to hard camp one of the side lanes, make it so they end up in a spot where they're incredibly far behind. Smoothie drops down that ward there.
Oh, they got it.
Phoenix, yep, they'll take it out in time. So
That's important.
10 free gold in their pocket.
It's actually really important because you always want to place a ward there at like 1 minute and 20 seconds to protect the Scuttle Crab and make sure you can spot the jungler going for it if they go for an early one. But look at this. Echo Fox are going for a very early invade here. But that means it's a W from the Morgana.
Delayed invade with W start. Dardoch walking away from that one. Starts to take a little bit of damage. Cloud9 not willing to concede this objective. We are going to have ourselves a level 1 fight here, Zyrene. That Crow gets a lot of bounces onto everyone.
Yeah, it's really good.
Red is almost out of patience. He's dragged back into the brush.
Oh,
Cloud9 want to try to take him away. Fun goes in. Able to find the knock up onto 3, but it's still going to be health bars dropping rapidly on the side of Echo Fox. Svenskar going forward. Fang's already out of there at first blood. Over to Smoothie. Cloud9 punish that invade.
And that's huge for them because now the funnel doesn't get to start on one of the buffs early, get ahead, get mid. The timings are all thrown off now. And Cloud9, that is actually huge for their momentum.
That's what this team wants right out of the gate. We've already talked about how Cloud9 can get early advantages. We've seen this team do it already multiple times so far in Summer Split. It's just keeping things together as the game goes on, translating those early leads into more later on, but this is about as much as you could ask for at level 1.
Yeah, this is huge from Smoothie. The fact that he's been whittling them down with the Dark Flight, he's just throwing it across them over and over again, and then they get to engage, throws out another Dark Flight. They're all silenced. It just bounces between these 4 members multiple times. They get so much off there, and this Fiddlesticks already off to a great start.
You said in Champion Select, Zyrene, I don't know how it's going to slot into the composition. Well, in a level 1 Fiesta fight, Fiddlesticks with a bouncing Silence Crow actually does a lot of work, and we'll see how much work Svenskar can do up here in the top lane, going for the level 2 gang, as Huni takes down Licorice.
I think he's out.
And walks away.
Huni just says, oh, you want to gank me? Not today. Takes out Licorice. Svenskar doesn't have flash from earlier in the invade. He used it to get that last bite off. And so, they focus the top side. We said C9 have to go top to make this composition work because Licorice is the person who's going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of damage with the supporting cast. And Huni, he's already saying, nope, we're going to shut this down.
Even if you take this man out of top lane for a couple games, he just comes right on back and goes back to his old ways.
Speaking of coming right on back, Svenskeren.
All right, second time's the charm. Svenskaren's thinking about this one, sitting on top of a ward. Huni does not care about the fact that this is 1 versus 2. He's just saying, all right, wow, I'm just going to dash away anyway. Svenskaren's still coming after him. Huni's still tempting death here, as he will be taken down and punished for that arrogance.
Hubris, I think, is the most appropriate word here.
That's the one I was looking for. I knew there was a fancier way to say it.
You can't. Oh, man. The hubris from Huni. Just staying there. He sees them on the ward the whole time, too. Like, he puts himself in the bush. He knows the stun is down. This is the first gank that comes through where Svenskeren comes from behind. The second gank is the one where he really got the better of Huni, but the flashes come through. Svenskeren just camps it. Ah! Oh, man. That's a hot keyboard there.
Oh, that's a spicy one. Fang's in some trouble underneath the tier 1 turret there. He's going to be taken down. Cloud9 coordinating the dive well.
Yeah, didn't even get to see the startup for that. It looks like there was Jensen coming down, and then it's just a CC combo. It was the fear into the silence, so Fang can't really do anything about that.
Top side, Huni's back underneath his own turret. He was running amok there for a while, but he's had to pump the brakes a little bit now after realizing you can't just go God mode at level 4.
Yeah, it actually
a little tricky.
Actually kind of wrecked him though because he died without teleport and Licorice got to stay in lane. So Licorice's death, he immediately got to TP back and pick up CS. So he's actually pretty decently ahead now in this game because of the fact that he got to pick up all that experience. Now he's got the Tiamat back. I think Huni will shove this, potentially get Tiamat himself and have to walk back again. We'll see here. Smoothie walks up. Black Shield ahead of time. Yep, adds it. It's just the CC combo onto Fang, who no longer has his flash available from earlier as well. And it's a really good roam.
Yeah.
And really good setup, too. I like the Golden Glue gave the Black Shield, saying the only way that they stop this is if Smoothie can't get in range or gets countered.
Yeah, the thing you applaud there, the play itself was rather easy to execute with the CC combination, but the setup and making sure they put themselves in a position to make that play is the kind of coordination you're looking for from Cloud9 as the stun comes through from Licorice, finding its way onto Huni, and whoa, goes the dynamite, blowing him up in the top lane.
Yeah, I thought Huni would back for his Tiamat before that, but Licorice, he got to the lane, he kept him in there, and then Huni picked a fight that I don't think he could win. And Licorice gets the better of him. The stun lands. Easy to land when you don't have that way to get out with the E, or you have the flash.
Huni might have got that outplay on that first gank, but after that, it has been Licorice, Licorice, Licorice up there.
And I want to actually draw attention to this because all we've been talking about is Licorice, Huni, Svenskaren's in there too, Smoothie, Golden Glue on the bottom side. Literally, this is a funnel composition from Echo Fox, and we've only said Altec's name once or twice. We are almost 7 minutes into the game. C9 have been playing to the side lanes and shutting down this composition. Sure, Altec is getting the CS, it's what's supposed to happen, but instead of meeting it like you said in the mid lane, you have to go to the side lanes. And that has been huge here. C9 has brought Svenskeren to the top twice, and then on the bottom side, Jensen was able to be in attendance. So C9 are playing this absolutely perfectly in terms of shutting this down.
Let's take another look at exactly how Licorice shut down Huni up here in the top side.
Licorice has full stacks of his passive. People do not respect that. And so he gets full stacks of his passive, goes in, gets the reset on the E, and
his arm fell off.
Yeah, just don't step on those Legos.
Ooh, not quite the same reaction cam as what you saw at level 1 there. Licorice just casually stretching the neck a little bit.
I mean, these guys,
any given Sunday,
they like to go ham against each other. I think it's going to happen again right here. There's the reset, Huni. There's the ulti.
Full fight. Huni going into ult mode only to die again. The killing spree for Licorice.
This is supposed to be a counter pick, right?
I think so.
Yeah, pretty sure Renekton is supposed to do well, but he doesn't get any jungle pressure here. And Huni without jungle pressure means he doesn't get to play the style that he likes. Got shut down, didn't have TP for the previous gank where he died, and so he's getting further and further and further behind. And Licorice is about to take over this game. 3-1.
Oh, nice binding in the bottom side onto Fang. He's going to be so low HP that he doesn't really want to go in, start any kind of a fight. And Huni's TP is just ever so unfortunately timed to still not be up, so it's another trek back to top lane, hoofing it.
And when you get behind as a side laner in a funnel comp, you can't scream for help. You can't be like, help me, jungler, what are you doing? And it's actually enormous in terms of how much it means. And Licorice, once again, full stacks the passive. People do not respect the amount of damage that you get when you land your abilities. The W gives you 2, the E gives you 1, you get resets off your Q on minions, you stack it up, and then you get all these bonus stats.
Worth noting that Licorice is now just shy of 1,000 gold ahead of his lane opponent in a game where Cloud9 is up 2,500 gold, so he's almost half of that just on his own. And remember, this is in a matchup where he ended up dying on his own team's first gank attempt. He has done a phenomenal job recovering from that.
Yeah, and right now, it's a funnel composition with Altec on the Lucian, right? Altec's at 3,400 gold. He's 400 gold behind Licorice. Licorice is being funneled Huni.
Let's see if this bottom side play can turn into anything. You saw Echo Fox wanting to make a move there, 4 men strong, but they can't quite find the opportunity to do much with it. And yes, funnel on the side of Echo Fox. At the same time, going back to what you were talking about earlier, Zyrene, the mages on the side of Cloud9 are going to be excellent support for this Irelia if she continues to be this strong. TP is coming in from both sides. Svenskeren decides to pop the Subjugate, looking to turn this fight around onto Dardoch. Wild Growth going to make sure Svenskeren stays healthy enough to continue the fight. He's still going to be there on the front line. Licorice looking to zone Huni away. Golden Glue grab the kill onto Phoenix bottom side. It's 1-for-1 traded there. Altec incredibly low, still manages to get himself away as attention gets turned back towards the bottom laner. Feng trying to walk away from this one. The pillar comes up, but the flash comes out.
Ends up being a 1-for-1. Lots of summoner spells blown in that exchange. And it seems like, to be honest, that C9 gets a little bit of a better trade there as they get to push down the bottom side of the map. And the person who died was the Karma. And so he doesn't get to farm up. Morgana gets to pick up some CS in that meantime.
He'll just shove up the mid lane there. Try to make sure all those minions get under the turret. Let's take another look at how this crazy fight started out.
Sorry, the Morgana is also the one that dies. Sorry. Anyway, just looks like the positioning here of the 2 TPs puts it in a really awkward spot where now Fox, their 2 members have to go up, and they don't have persistent damage sources really. And Phoenix then has to go up and get pincered in. So it's kind of like this just stack on stacks winning. Like you put your hand in, somebody puts their hand on top of yours, you put your hand on top. It's just like you really don't have any great position in terms of just things that are able to group up together. So they weren't able to get their composition together on either side. And it's just a little bit better of a skirmish for C9.
Licorice continuing to maintain control here in the top side as well. Has the Phage and Sheen both completed. Svenskeren paying yet another visit. Sees Huni there waiting in the brush. Drops down the trophy.
And Licorice, ooh, okay. Yeah, they got the E out of Huni, so they know that he's vulnerable. And that top turret is below half HP. And I said this at the very start, like, Echo Fox have run multiple. They've run 2 funnel compositions in the past. They've lost both those games. And a lot of that is because Dardoch, one of their big aggressive players early, doesn't get to play aggressive champions.
Yeah, it's not the right style for him as Golden Blue now could potentially be in some trouble in this 2 versus 2. Feng still looking to go forward on this one. Has Alistar ultimate still active. Maybe Phoenix can find the opportunity for more damage. Sidesteps it as now they turn their attention over to Smoothie instead. The root comes through. Zhonya's comes out in the form of the stopwatch. Woo! Very low, pops off the fear and the silence and walks away.
So Fiddlestick's passive is if you stand still for enough time, you get a burst of movement speed after you start moving again. The stopwatch was him standing in place for long enough that he just gets out of it, goes, boop, thank you, and just waddles away.
Very well played by Cloud9 to get themselves out of that one. And at the same time, they see the opportunity to take the first turret of the game in the top half of the map. 3,500 gold up over their opponents, and there's no signs of stopping yet. Going for the tier 2 turret up here. Huni's level 8, by the way, not in any position to try to fight back against this. Same level as the enemy jungler. Phoenix shows up, and this might just be the second course. I'm not quite sure how well this is going to go. Licorice comes in and makes it a double kill.
Make it a double. Licorice gonna pick that one up, and they're gonna get another turret here. Is this funnel, like, we haven't even talked about Dardoch or Altec getting funneled anything here. He's just pretty much only 20 CS ahead. He's a little bit ahead of the 10 per minute mark, but turrets are falling. The map is just getting destroyed around them, and Echo Fox are bleeding everything away right now.
Strategy not paying off for Echo Fox so far. Altec 0-0-0. Level 9 compared to the level 10 of Licorice.
A lot of the times, the funnel is about getting this champion that needs 1 to 2 items, potentially 3 and 4, to that point, right? Trinity Force users are great. Rage Blade users are great because it's a multiplier item. Just keep getting them further and further ahead, these guys that scale. Lucian is not this incredible hyperscaler in the first place, but you can run marksman there like Xayah, etc. And so this is just really interesting to me because Echo Fox, they're seeding some of their biggest strengths as players, and they're making it so that they're trying this composition, and Huni is just getting destroyed and focused down, and there's nothing they can really do about it because of the state of the composition. And that's just another kill for Licorice, who we said has to get ahead. He's 5-1. He is more than ahead. He's ahead of the entire game.
There's so many different ways that seem viable to play League of Legends right now, whether it be very traditional in terms of what we saw before the big patch shakeups, whether it be a funnel, whether it just be role switch-ups, putting mages and bruisers bottom, and we've seen Echo Fox execute on some of those role swaps before, but this strategy, as you've already said, it seems to be counterintuitive to what the players excel at. When Huni goes into the bottom lane and plays Yasuo, Huni's damn good at doing that.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Yep, sounds fantastic. When Huni's put in the top lane, given no help whatsoever, and said, okay, fight this guy.
Well, he's given an aggressive counter pick where you don't get any pressure from your jungler because you don't have one, right? Counter picks work because you get to punish the lane, bring the jungler to you, and then your jungler wards or counters, and then you're better in 2-on-2s. Here, Huni was expecting to shove the way, but he went for way too many brawls.
Yep.
Like, when you have funnel,
he saw the ward at level 4 when he TP'd back.
When you have a funnel composition, I'm sure he's saying, I want to keep the jungler here. But when you have a funnel composition, your side lanes need to play safe and let the funnel scale. But that has not happened here at all. And you can see the people who have died, the 8 deaths for Echo Fox are the side laners.
It's honestly resulted in a situation where you've got a 5,500 gold lead for the side of Cloud9, 15 minutes into this game. No Drakes have been taken yet, no Rift Herald taken, and right as I say it, I jinx it of course. Svenskeren moving down to that Mountain Drake. Looking to make that one Cloud9 property here in just a moment. Shouldn't need any help. Doesn't look like Echo Fox is in any condition to try to contest that one, as this top side has just become an absolute mess. Trinity Force completed for Licorice's Irelia. Means he's in a spot where he's just really not afraid of much of anything. We'll see if maybe they can put that fear back in him. Now it's a 2 versus 1. Licorice trying to get away from that, but the damage, the burst is enough. The shutdown credit goes over to Fang.
And once you start getting some help in the top side, you're able to turn things around. Once you have one of your supports roaming around, that's really going to put you back in the game. Because this, we just checked the stats for it. In terms of Huni's career deaths at 15, this is tied for his most deaths at 15 minutes in his career.
Ooh, that is a rough situation for him to be in, especially on a champion like Renekton. It's not like you're dying, going back to what we were talking about, champs like Ornn or something that's still just a big meatball. Renekton wants to be ahead. He wants to be able to be that threat in the team fights. He's not just building 5 tank items, and they try to collapse there onto Svenskeren. They won't be able to find that pick, and Cloud9 just walks themselves away.
That's the TP used, and the flash. So they got the TP out of Huni, and they got the flash out of Zardoz to try and make that happen. They get nothing for it. So it's just a disengage. Cloud9 looking on point here. Composition makes a lot of sense for them. The damage was low, like I said, but Licorice is the one who needs to do a lot of the heavy lifting, and he's absolutely doing that this game. He's actually the guy who like shows up, and kids are like, "Oh yeah, first time in the gym." He's like lifting 500 pounds. Like, what is going on?
It's like, where did this happen? Where did this come from? But right now he's 5-2-0. He's working on the next item. Got the Jarm's Fist completed. You can see that transform most likely into Titanic Hydra, potentially Sterix Cage as well. If you look at Alltech though, does have Blade of the Ruin King done. So has hit that first big item power spike. He did go fully completed Warrior first. Sometimes you don't see that happen all the way. Warrior is a very cost-effective item if you already have the red smite. Getting the bonus stats by socketing the gemstone into the knife is like 160% gold efficient or something crazy like that. But at the same time, it's not a top tier item like you were talking about, Cyrene. It's not a Trinity Force. It's not something that really changes the way your champion can operate. It's not like an Essence Reaver. So it does delay those big purchases,
yeah,
and allow Cloud9 more control.
And I want to see what Alltech does here, because yesterday he went Devourer into Nashor's Tooth, into Rageblade on Kai'Sa, and didn't even get to finish the Rageblade. And I actually disagreed wholeheartedly with that build. Rageblade is just incredible for changing the combat pattern of a champion and completing something like the, not Devourer, the Blood Razor. I don't think is as effective, and Licorice gonna try to get out of this one too. You see Fang is actually right behind, gonna flash.
And wants to go after this,
Whoa.
but it will be slowed down. Licorice with some fancy moves. Huni still may be able to stop, and there's your stun, there's your damage. Huni cashing in again.
Yeah, Fang actually got slowed by the wall there, disarmed. Looked like his shoulder just kind of went through it.
Monster got a big hitbox,
Yeah.
big boy. But Rift Herald will go over the way of Cloud9. They recognize the fact that their top laner was drawing attention to the bottom side of the map. They take the advantage elsewhere. Alltech instantly deleted. That's not where you want to see the guy that you're trying to get ahead end up.
Yeah, and you can see he already has a QSS now. So you force the QSS buy because of the fiddlesticks. It actually makes it so that your funnel is not as effective because funnels getting to 6 items is huge. One of them being a QSS or having to spend that gold on it really does put him in a power trough for a bit and slows them down.
Huni's at least back in control in the bottom lane for now. His opponent does have that Titanic Hydra completed, like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, so that's another big item coming online for Licorice. As mid lane, Cloud9 will push up, look to take down the tier 2. Dardoch shows up in time, brings up the shield to keep that one alive, albeit at a little bit of health.
Yeah, and I think this is the tipping point of the game because C9 are ahead 4,500 gold, and they've had a lot of leads get away from them, and the Baron's about to spawn. If there's anything that I know about Echo Fox, it's that they don't let games go away from them without a fight.
They're not just going to sit around and passively wait for you to hopefully make a mistake. They're going to try to get back in this game.
They're going to try to force a mistake out of you. They're going to try to make an unforced error happen by starting fights over and over again and just trying to make it so, hey, you mess up instead of waiting for it. So I really like this from them as a style, but it means they lose and they go down in like a blaze of glory a lot of the time.
Exactly.
Just like they live by the skirmish, they die repeatedly by the skirmish. And so Echo Fox, I assume that very shortly they're going to start going for very aggressive plays here to try and get back into the game. And I think a lot of it's going to revolve around Huni in the side lane and also just trying to use Altec here to make some picks alongside Fang and Dardoch.
The team of Echo Fox is almost the perfect trial for Cloud9.
They're waiting for the Baron to spawn. Mid lane just actually got pushed up. Now they're spotted returning to the mid lane. But here's Aurelia, here's Svenskeren, and they've actually cut them off on the side, and there's the E from Lucian, so it's a good time to go. They're getting collapsed on.
Echo Fox bite off more than they can chew. Dardoch going to be in some trouble here at the beginning. Jensen forced to flash away. Ignite already dropped down onto him. Root goes onto the enemy tank, but that's still an Alistar. Over the wall comes more damage. Licorice going to be taken very low. But Echo Fox is out of there. Altec has to walk away, low HP. Smoothie's ultimate comes in, not even required there at the end of the fight. Huni's ulted up, but he's not able to make his way in time. And Cloud9 get 2 for 0.
Man, the Vanguard's edge came out there perfectly from Licorice. He held onto it for long enough, threw it when he was about to die, got wild growth from Jensen, and then he just got so many resets because it hit a lot of people.
This is the power of having Morgana and Lulu on the same side to back up that guy that could be your carry. Yes, it's not funnel by definition, but at the same time, you have the ability to pump so much extra power into that guy. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's basically a multiplier on champions that already work well with those stats. You want to give him HP, big slow zone, make it so that he's immune to being slowed or stunned himself, and then he's just going to take over the fight and be this big kind of juggernaut there.
Bottom side, Huni will keep on pushing up. BF sort of inventory. Let's take another look at this fight here. Yeah, Echo Fox just goes in too far.
It's like a trident. They come in from 3 angles there, and it forces them to kind of use their abilities in a split way. Dardoch with a great ultimate, but then Licorice gets in. Licorice actually gets CC'd and almost blown up here. You can see, has to use the W, gets rooted, almost dies, but then the wild growth over the wall from Jensen is perfect after the Vanguard's edge.
Jensen doing a good job there of staying in the fight just enough to not be in danger, but at the same time drastically affect the outcome.
Yeah.
Still a 5,000 gold lead here for Cloud9. Echo Fox did grab themselves their first Elemental Drake of the game while we were watching the replay. So Ocean number 1 under their belt 20 minutes in isn't going to be anything huge, but it's still something you're keeping away from Cloud9, still something you grab for yourselves as Shelly's about to grab this mid lane tier 2. Boom, there goes the headbutt. And that one's out of there. Cloud9 are marching up to make sure she gets that second charge off and puts some hurt down onto the tier 3. There you go, about 60% of the health out.
Yep, and they were trying to give Altec some side lane farm. Fang gonna go in.
Fang decides it's time to start this one off. Svenskaren's gonna be your target, but that could be a very tanky man to initiate onto. Dardoch having to flash out immediately. Licorice still gonna be there on the front line. Huni walking out, has to walk with the disarm. Licorice is sniped out by Phoenix.
Licorice went in and they gave him so much there, but I don't know if the wild growth was off of cooldown just yet. Jensen still had it. It looks like it was, and he just got popped and was not expecting that damage.
Empowered Inner Flame from Karma hits like a truck, especially when he's got Sorcerer's Shoes, when he's got Luden's Echo, when he's building full AP like this, and you've got to respect the burst coming out from that one.
And the full AP is actually going to add a big magic damage threat to the composition. And they were not expecting that. That was actually a huge burst of damage there to finish him off. Normally you're just like, oh, Sport Karma is just going to tickle a little bit. No, the Luden's Echo behind it and the spell penetration means a lot.
Echo Fox just buying more time to try to scale up, get this Lucian to the point where he can try to just take down everybody 1 versus 5. We'll see if he can hit that point because he's still got a lot of ground to cover. Sitting on a grand total of 10,500 gold, which means he's still outpaced by about 600 compared to Liquish's Irelia.
Yeah, but he's not really ahead in levels either. He's the same level as his top laner, same level as the enemy top laner, and pretty much the same level as Jensen's Lulu. Jensen is very close to 14 himself. Actually, not about halfway, but still. It's huge, though, because he's not actually ahead. He's just like a moderately fed Lucian. He's not this insane Lucian. And this started off with Fang going in, hitting Svenskeren, and then Svenskeren got the Subjugate off. Another good ultimate from Dardoch, and then Licorice had already committed to the front of the fight. And once you're in, yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Looks like Wild Growth was still up. Black Shield actually had 1 second left on it there. And I believe Licorice's flash was about 10 seconds away as well. Yeah, it was about 10 seconds away. So he didn't have it there until he was blown up. And that's huge because it gives shutdown gold over to Echo Fox.
It does give shutdown gold, but at the same time, if you're Cloud9, you're looking at this and saying, it didn't cost us Baron, it didn't cost us some kind of important Drake, it didn't cost us a bunch of turrets. It's an acceptable loss.
But you also have to go, if you're Cloud9, oh no, not again. Because this has happened 3 times to them where they've had leads 3 games in a row now, and they haven't been able to close out. And there's been a lot of criticism towards that. Once again, very far ahead in this game with Licorice being fed, not able to close out. And there is a lot on his back, but the Sporticast also has to make sure they're buying space for him and giving him the abilities in these fights.
And this is what I was getting at earlier when you were talking about how Echo Fox won't go down without a fight. And I said this is the perfect test for Cloud9 because Echo Fox wants to put them in that position where they're forced into that same mistake that they've made so many times so far this split. Those spots that have put them at this 1-4 record. And if Cloud9 wants to overcome those demons, they're going to have to stare Echo Fox in the eyes and beat them head on.
Yeah, and right now, there's positioning on Baron. It actually looks like Baron advantage in terms of warding for Fox, but they're going to try to engage.
Dardoch and Fang might be in some trouble here. TP coming in. If Huni finds his way into the back lines, that could be a fight Fox wants. At the same time, though, health bar's already going to be taken low. TP canceled. Huni decides not to make his way into this fight. It's already gone too far south. Cloud9 continues to push. The turret is low.
Yeah, that was a canceled TP from Huni. Licorice completed his, and then the flashes came out to try and disengage from Echo Fox's side. But here comes Huni on the side. Yes, S3 completed. They're going for a fight.
Fang decides he wants to go in. Svenskeren going to be taken very low, nearly dead. Huni coming in from the side, has the ulti, ready to go. Ends up not finding the stun down onto anything valuable. Instead, only proccing it onto a ward. Golden Blue goes into the hourglass. Knocked back up into the air. Fang is taken very low. He will die, but they'll trade him away for Golden Glue. That's 1 for 1.
Yeah, the Tormented Soil's actually going to pick him up there at the end. It was a good disengage from Cloud9 because Huni popped his ultimate, which means that he's waiting to get an auto attack off so he can get the Essence Flare. And he actually doesn't get an auto attack off on a champion before he can actually proc it, and it just wears off. And so Golden Glue, he does use the Zonias. It'll be back off a cooldown by the time they want to fight again. But ultimately, they were able to defend their inhibitor and their inhibitor turret with just a sliver of HP, and that's where Echo Fox love to fight, right before these turrets go down. Dardoch starts it off. They catch Svenskeren, who's now out of the fight, and then Huni goes in, hits a ward there with the W, because he was looking for a different target. He was fishing for somebody else, and Huni just seems to be, after that first kill in the 1v2, seems to be a little bit off here.
Does have the Essence Reaver completed, like you mentioned, though, so you've got the ability to potentially go into crazy Berserk Renekton mode in these fights if you can hit someone.
Exactly. It does make Renekton actually a way better champion in the mid-late game, because normally he's just like, oh, I'm winning the early game with wave push, and then I fall off. Now, when he ulties, it's actually very effective in terms of like shutting people down and getting multiple resets.
Speaking of ultis, he does pop the ultimate there to try to pick off Svenskeren near the Baron pit. That doesn't result in much of anything, but it does mean Huni will have about another 60 seconds before that ult comes back off of cooldown. The nice part about having the Essence Reaver as well, considering Renekton always builds Black Cleaver, you're sitting on that juicy 40% CDR that as an AD caster just feels so good to have.
Yeah, and it's actually incredibly good. So he's only got a 72-second cooldown on his ult now, the Dominus in general. And in the late game, that's actually almost no time at all. Minutes are going by very quickly. And now Huni has gotten back into the game, but hold on.
Fang pops the ultimate. This might be the turnaround from Echo Fox. They look to go in onto Svenskeren, who's caught out, taken very low. Wild Growth gonna bring him back up to a very high amount of health. Still gonna be very, very low. Dardoch trying to escape. Has 1-for-1 so far. Altech's able to find a double. Still looking to make it even more. Licorice dashing right back over to Huni. Still looking to take him down. But Licorice will barely skirt away. Altech tries to outplay. He takes him down. Pentakill!
That's the funnel, baby! Echo Fox, Altech comes up huge in the fight, and they win it!
Lightning strikes Cloud9 again. The later parts of the game are so problematic, and Echo Fox beautifully weaves their way through that fight.
The start of it looked like they were gonna have no damage. Huni's not gonna be there in time. They peel into the corridor perfectly, and then Altech, it's not just janitor duty, he is running up in the front line, outplays, the polymorph came through, I thought it was gonna get turned around, but he ends up getting all 5 of them.
That is the pendulum swinging right there for Echo Fox, putting 5 kills on that big carry, putting Baron in your pockets, waiting on Baron for Huni to spawn, so you've got it on that split pusher. Excellent awareness of exactly what's going on in the situation right there from this team.
And we have to see that one more time here, because this starts off in a 5v4, but there's just so much damage on Jensen and Smooth. They're playing back. They focus down the Trundle Svenskeren. Licorice goes in. Dardoch gets out. Fang drops, but there was this culling the entire time. And now those 2 kills go over very quickly. Licorice looks like he was about to go ahead and get out and reset. And then the flash forward, the Defiant Dance, the shield into the polymorph, but then the QSS to get out. The QSS makes the difference there. He stays alive and outplays. And if there's ever criticism about why are they funneling Altech instead of somebody like Huni, that's your answer.
Show him that clip. Back at the beginning of this game, 15 minutes in, our words were, we haven't talked about Altech. We haven't talked about Dardoch in this funnel. And now, even though that beginning of the game wasn't so much about them, it's Altech who has suddenly become the focus of both teams. When you can do something like that, Cloud9 now says, look, this guy's got to be out of the picture. And Echo Fox says, this is our win condition.
Yeah. And Altech's gone from this player who was really consistent, you could always rely on him, to there was some turbulence with him and Adrian playing bottom lane for Echo Fox, not getting attention, not getting played to by their jungler, and now he is the sole focus of this team in the mid game. The composition is built around him, and we're seeing exactly why.
Even last split when Echo Fox was doing so well for an organization that had been in the LCS for a while and never found amazing success, the first split that they do find that success, Altech isn't the one that's typically given credit as the guy who was the reason this happened. The bottom lane was seen as the weak link. Now, with the shakeup of the meta, with the opportunity to play things elsewhere, we've seen him play Mundo in the top lane. We're seeing him play Lucian mid/jungle now. We're seeing him nearly destroy Golden Blue with just the ultimate. And we're seeing this Echo Fox team march it down mid lane. 4 men strong, Huni's on the split push, TP ready to go. This could be Echo Fox just strong-arming their way into the Cloud9 base as C9 scrambles to try to defend. They don't have Golden Blue ready. They will not be there to defend the inhibitor turret. Inhibitor itself, very, very low. One more shot will do it. And Echo Fox claims their first in-game 31 minutes in.
Dardoch, oh, there's a lot of
back
going
over
on here.
Trying to make sure nobody gets in trouble, but now he's the one who's got to be mindful of his own health.
Whoa, man. And now, C9, we talked about it, 5K gold lead, it's gone. They catch him, Dardoch
They
down.
find Dardoch, that's a pretty big pick. They're able to land for themselves, making this a 5 versus 4. Licorice still looking to make more happen. Altech runs his way through the disarm. That's a double kill for Cloud9 in the top laner. Let's see what they can get from this momentum. It needs to be something.
This is pretty much just one big carry versus another big carry. It's 10, 5, and 2 for Licorice, 350 CS. He's almost at that full build, 1 item to go. And then on the opposite side, Altech, he is 6-1-1, pentakill in this game. He's ready to go. He's got full inventory here. He may change 1 or 2 things out later, but there's just these 2 big behemoths fighting each other, and Altech is alone.
Altech's in a lot of trouble. He's going to be killed instantly. Echo Fox may have made a critical mistake. They've got Dardoch coming back in 2 seconds. They've got Feng coming back in 5. Their inhibitor falls immediately. Cloud9 still hanging around here, still looking to make more happen. Golden Blue's going back to the base, but he has TP to rejoin. C9 could look to end this game. They know Altech is dead for the next 40 seconds. TP comes in. Golden Blue looking to start this one up. make it so that they can have that minion tank. Echo Fox goes in. This is where they have to hold, but it's going to be Huni who's targeted first as Licorice goes in, trying to make sure they win this game right here.
Go too far.
So much damage from the Karma coming out to make sure Cloud9 can't go all the way in. Phoenix again with these inner flames as Licorice and Smoothie try to get themselves out. Another shot coming in from the side will proc the Guardian Angel, and Echo Fox bears their fangs to defend that Nexus.
Oh, DJ Phoenix, give him another one. Throw in the Qs constantly. They save the game. That was death's door right there for Echo Fox, and Phoenix says no, resurrection time.
Absolutely phenomenal defense. Let's take another look.
Phoenix gets off to the right side here. What he's aiming for is usually the minion wave to thin it out, but he starts throwing the Qs later in the fight. Gets Golden Glue out of the Zonias, hitting Jensen on top of it. The splash hits Golden Glue a second time, as well as Svenskeren. And then he gets to go, and they're trying to reinforce Licorice. Their carry is deep. He is very deep in the back line, so Licorice gets to do nothing to that back line while he's there, and they peel off, and then Smoothie's flash is even blown there as well. Another high-value Q there from Phoenix.
And Smoothie dies there if he doesn't flash. Yeah, that flash was 100% necessary. That's not a whoopsie, I was afraid flash. That's a I gotta get the hell out of Dodge kind of flash. As Echo Fox now finds himself from standing at the edge of potentially losing the game to once again controlling the map, pushing down in the bottom side here. They got everybody except Dardoch. Gotta be careful to not get engaged on here.
Like I said, if there's anything that I ever know about Echo Fox, it's that they do not lose a game without a fight to try and get themselves back into it. They say, you can't take this from us. We always get a chance to fight.
Such a scrappy squad. It's one thing that makes them so fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And 35 minutes into this game, it could still go either way as Huni finds himself caught out by the Trundle Pillar. But the rest of Echo Fox is coming around from the side on the flank. Drew comes down onto Dardoch. They're looking to start this fight up right here, right now. Svenskeren taking low. He eats the full force of the culling. Braum Ultimate finding its way onto Smoothie, and they've got the enemy support. Echo Fox 1 for 0, still continuing to push down into the base. Inhibitor already out of the way. They've got the minion wave in the bottom side as well. They'll rotate down, push that one up. Go for Inhib number 2.
Yeah, catching this Lucian is going to be so hard. The fact that he has a lot of CDR, he has ways to navigate these fights. You got to pin him down with the Aurelia stun. You got to use that point-and-click CC from Smoothie or Jensen, and he's going to QSS one. He's going to have assistance with another, and so it's going to be very difficult to nail down Altec and stop him from navigating these fights.
2 inhibitors down, 2 Uber buffs spawning in 30 seconds. Echo Fox in control of the game. Cloud9 has got to figure out a way to try to stabilize this and still pull this game out.
And this next few minutes here is huge, not only just for the state of the game, but these teams. If Cloud9 lose 4 games in a row where they had gold leads, there's going to be a lot of talk about that. And Echo Fox, they have run 3 funnel compositions. They have lost 2. If this is their 3rd time running it and they lose 3, there's going to be criticism about that, and if it's going to work coming into Rift Rivals. You want to win this game desperately if you are either team, and you can see C9's desperation right now as they start the Baron.
The call from Cloud9 is to go for it. Starting up the Baron already. They've got it down to about half HP. They don't do it incredibly quickly as Echo Fox comes in. Hootie's coming in from behind. Culling goes off. Licorice looking to go in. Not going to do it. He gets interrupted. Golden Glue goes golden, trying to survive in the stasis. Hootie's going to be locked down in Polymorph, but Altec still running wild. Bang into the back line, able to find the knock up. It's a double kill for Echo Fox. Make it 3, make it 4. And Cloud9 is done. Dardoch applies the winner's bite as Altec goes over the wall, finds another triple. And with Cloud9 aced for nothing, Echo Fox begins the victory march.
Echo Fox, they do it again. They come back. This team does not go down without a fight, and the fights go their way, and they're going to take the game and have a good bit of momentum going into Rift Rivals.
This game looked so bad early on. The funnel seemed ineffective. Cloud9 seemed on their mark, but Echo Fox, never one to go down without fighting, comes back for the win.
And you can see the smirk there. Johnny Rune knows what he did.
He knows exactly what he did with that pentakill, with those multiple outplays, being this massive just damage source for his team. This guarantee that there are going to be health bars getting just obliterated left, right, and center in these team fights.
And this puts Echo Fox back near the top of the standings, tied for first place again. And this leaves Cloud9 still at the bottom, 1-5 now. And another game, 4 games in a row for Cloud9, where they have just lost because they were ahead and they weren't able to put the finishing touches on the game.
And it's tragic almost to see, because we talked about it going into the game. We talked about it when Cloud9 were ahead. We talked about it when there were a couple of mistakes where we saw Licorice get caught, where we saw that momentum start to wane a little bit. And then at the end of the game, as Echo Fox claims their win, we have to talk about it again, because it's the same old song and dance for Cloud9.
And it's crazy. They've been swapping players up. The idea is to have the strongest squad and the most motivated squad. They scheme to have that early game down, but it's just the coming together, the cohesion. It's not what you would expect.
Tragedy for Cloud9, but a fantastic win for Echo Fox. And to hear more about that back and forth game, let's send things back to Jat and Mark.
Thanks, Captain Flowers. There have been 6 games this split in the NALCS where a team has had a 3,000 gold advantage or higher and lost. It's now happened 4 times to Cloud9. And Mark, you and I were really displeased with the Cloud9 draft, and we're starting to question it in the early game because Cloud9 jumped out to such a huge advantage. But let's talk about what happened in this C9 draft.
Yeah, it's going to make it sound a little weird because of how well things kind of worked out for C9, but it was really weird how they started with this kind of funnel strategy that it looked like they were building to. They have a ton of supports, but they had taken Trundle early, which almost always goes jungle. We haven't seen it flex anywhere. Yeah. And then they round things out with the Aurelia, and with the Trundle already there, they can't put it in the jungle.
Right. So we kept kind of memeing and saying supports attack because they didn't have a good way of fighting even when they had a 6,000 plus gold lead. You're expecting maybe a funnel of some kind when you pick 3 ranged supports. Yeah, sure, you can camp top lane and get fed, but still, what are you going to do after that? Because you don't have a great way of killing a Lucian who also has a bunch of supports.
Conceptually, there's so many things wrong with it. Like, you do a funnel because you're guaranteed to get that gold onto that member, and then you have a ton of supports who will function around that super fed champion. Like you said, an Aurelia top lane is never going to group with the support, so you can never go and protect it that easily. And then when you get into team fights, you're still outranged by the opponent. All of that said, we thought we were going to look like idiots thinking this because of how good this game started for the side of C9, and Licorice getting super fed, though Huni did have his one moment.
He got the 1 kill, but then he died 4 times in a row. He stood on 2 people, letting himself getting ganked by Svenskeren, and Licorice came there. Like, Svenskeren sat on that ward for 30 seconds. Here, fully stacked Aurelia passive, as Zyrene mentioned, gives away the solo kill. That also lets Licorice hit level 6, so he's got a level advantage on him, comes right back, kills him yet again, and you're thinking, man, maybe this wacky C9 draft could actually work.
Yeah, maybe you could say it was like the super mind games, where like we give up the Aurelia, who's supposed to be our champion that's supposed to get strong, against a counter pick, but because he has no jungler, we can camp it and he'll play aggressive because Huni loves to play aggressive. So maybe there was some kind of super mind game going on there. But even with that, the rest of the draft is just so strange to me with all melee and a bunch of supports. And then you try and play that into a comp that actually has a front line and CC and a range damage dealer.
Yeah, it's better.
I don't get it.
Right? Altec did keep his farm up. Even when Licorice had 5 kills at 15 minutes into the game, he was still only down 750 gold. Even if the game had that 5.6k gold advantage, you have no effective way of using that in team fights.
Yeah, C9 had to work so hard to get a 750 gold lead on their primary carry in the comp, whereas Echo Fox, yeah, they didn't hold anyone down while generating theirs. They never shut down the main person. And then Huni started playing better as the game went on. He started finding kills in the side lane as Echo Fox started punishing Licorice, who once again was 5-1 and kind of lost that game.
Yeah, and here we go. We got the Altec pentakill right here. This was when they were down about 3,000 or 4,000 gold. But again, kind of pay attention to how C9 is going to try and fight. Dardoch, good frontline positioning. Feng, good frontline positioning. And C9 doesn't have a backline to protect, and they only have 1 diver to support. So Altec, free hits on the back of this fight, actually is ending it with 100% health. Dardoch even lives despite being in the front line at the start of it. Polymorph almost clutches it right at the end, but Altec takes it home.
Yeah, you can see how strong Aurelia is in a 1v1 or in a more skirmish setting, but in the 5v5, Altec could just sit in the back, stand still and calling everyone down, and then move forward with the help of his supports once they got back into it. And this is just one of those times you're looking at that draft, you have 2 mage players, but you stuck them on supportive mages, and then they can't even, like, that game went so good for C9. There was also the level 1 First Blood. Level 1 Invade First Blood that Echo Fox messed up on, and they still lose that game as they were completely outcomped.
Cloud9 moves to 1-5. Echo Fox moves to 4-2, and Ovely is standing by with Echo Fox's jungler.
Thanks, guys. Dardoch, congratulations on that win. With that, Echo Fox is now in a 3-way tie for first with Team Liquid and TSM. But I mean, that game did not look easy for you guys. What happened, and how'd you make the comeback?
We pretty much just picked the funnel comp, which is just essentially just a composition built around a central marksman / carry. So in this game, it was the Lucian. So anytime we were strong enough to win a 5v5, essentially we were just stronger regardless of how much gold we were down. So yeah, when Johnny got a penta, we knew that we were just going to win the game because they couldn't 5v5 us anymore.
And what do you think about the current state of Cloud9, just playing against them today?
It just seems like a roster filled with really good individual talent that doesn't really have a central leadership or anything like that. So they are just kind of, obviously, they seem a bit like confused in the ending the game kind of stages. So I think they're all really great players. Obviously, they win laning phases often. They have really good early game leads most games. So they are obviously talented players. I just think they're struggling to make it mesh.
And going back to the funnel comp, we saw you on Braum today. Yesterday, Rainover said that he really enjoys playing against these funnel comps. But what's it like for a jungler playing in it?
It's definitely something different than what I'm expecting. Especially, I'm a carry jungler by trade, so I'm used to getting a lot of resources myself. So being on the support is different, but I don't think it's a negative thing. At the end of the day, League of Legends is a strategy game, so I do think different kind of playstyles are healthy for a game like this. So overall, it's obviously not super fun playing Braum and Alistar and like watching somebody else take all the money and me just kind of being like an extra in their movie kind of thing. So, but I think it is very good for the game.
But I mean, we saw the success of you being the extra in the film. Alltech picking up that pentakill almost near the end of that. Tell me about his evolution as a player, because I know last split he was a little iffy on some games.
I think overall, I wouldn't really hold our last split struggles to our bottom lane or to Johnny specifically. I would say more so we were a top-centric team that the meta shifted away from us being able to play to top, and we just had no idea how to play around bottom, and it really showed. I just think Johnny's always been really good. We're just finally giving him the resources and the tools to actually play the game.
You guys are ending the week 1-1. Yesterday's loss to Team Liquid, a lot of people were pointing out saying, well, it looks like the gap between first and second place is pretty big. Do you think that game was indicative of skill?
Not necessarily. The funnel comps normally always go one way or the other, and it is kind of decided early on, and we made a lot of very glaringly, I want to say idiotic mistakes, especially, well, just our overall, just our play the whole game was just very bad. So I think that game was more of a, more so showcasing our lack of, what's the word? Our lack of composure on stage and just us having a little too much fun and just making a bunch of really dumb mistakes. So I wouldn't really say it was a good show of our skill versus Team Liquid. I'd just say we just kind of inted it on stage.
Well, next week you're going against EU in the Rift Rivals. How confident are you going into there?
I do think we're the stronger region, but honestly, I have no way to back that statement other than I think my team, just from watching games, I think we're a stronger region, but obviously only one way to find out.
Well, wishing you luck in that, Dardoch. Thank you. And for everyone else, coming up, we got Game 5 of 100 Thieves versus Optic Gaming. Meet us here after the break to catch Game 5.